Track fans, we're coming to you live from the Podium on the banks of the mighty Spokane River here in Spokane, Washington. It's opening day in track and field in the United States. Athletes begin their long and arduous journey that will ultimately culminate with the Prix Classic, the Diamond League final at Hayward Field. So tonight we have a slew of races starring our middle distance stars in the United States and other nationalities who are competing here and based in the U.S., and they'll be competing for points and world ranking spots as well as prize purses in the 800 and 1500 meter events. But we got some all-star lineups in the 3000 meter events as well, with Cole Hawker making his 2023 debut right here in the Podium tonight. Also have some competitive high school miles that are brought to you by Endless Mileage, a great program that Ben Blankenship is heading up from down in Eugene. And I'm Jeff Merrill. I'm here with three-time Olympian and three-time American record holder Shannon Robery in the booth, and we'll be bringing you the narratives of all the thrilling races this evening here in the Podium. Shannon, last year we saw a world record take place at this meet. Union Athletics Club, their women ran a world record in the DMR, the distance medley relay, running 10:39, and it was very special to have a world record set by a group of individuals who are all part of the same team here. And the Union Athletics Club is hosting this event this year. But this year the focus is really on racing. And fast times are always a focus. But they're a product of the racers' determination to win the race. And this being a World Athletics silver level event this year, we're going to get to see them kind of contest and fight it out a little bit on the track.
You know, I think this is something we've talked about beforehand, but it's really important to drive home. There's been a big shift over the years in the way that athletes qualify for major championships. And this new ranking system incorporates performances, and those performances are weighted based on the level of the meet that they're in. And for the Lilac Grand Prix to be a World Athletics silver level competition, you know, I was speaking with the Union Athletics Club coach Pete Julian beforehand, and as I look at the chart, you know, to win here is equivalent to winning at an NCAA championship, and I believe even to a U.S. outdoor championship. Like, that's no joke. And if you want to share as well, kind of the extra weight that can come from, you know, winning here, how your time can suddenly, sort of the value of that time can be amplified.
Absolutely. So this is an attempt that we've seen to draw some of the top athletes in the world to race against each other on a more regular basis, right, which we all want to see as fans and as people putting meets together as well. Yeah. That's what sports are about, the best going against the best. Mm-hmm. And so winning here will secure an extra 100 points to an athlete's performance score, which then contributes to their world ranking. And to give you an idea of what that means, the weight of a race here can shift a 418 performance, 418 in the women's 1500, to a 405 performance if that athlete secures the win here and gets that extra 400 or 100 points. It can take a 342 to the equivalent of a 335 performance. So as the auto standards to qualify for world championships and Olympics keep getting tougher and tougher, the way in now to those major events is through points. So that has been a back door in the past, but it's becoming a front door now. And
we saw that play out last summer as people were qualifying for the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. You know, it used to be just a time standard. I mean, gosh, I've been in this sport for a while now. So, you know, there used to be A and B standards. It used to be then just one time standard. But now, you know, the United States still focuses on place at the championships. So top three are prioritized. However, you have to not only be top three, you have to either have that qualifying time or you need to have that ranking. And, you know, I think that this is a big shift, and it's complicated as you're kind of trying to learn it, but it's very important for these athletes that are showing up here today to be gaining those points that can ultimately be you can take 5 performances to create your world ranking. The points they can gain here could make the difference between, you know, whether they make the team or not.
Yeah, and as this is all kind of complicated, but we want to get it out there because It's very important for you as a viewer to know that this is leading to more thrilling races and matchups that we all want to see. Yeah. And we're going to see a shift more to that those styles of races on a more regular basis, starting with this one right here, the Lilac Grand Prix. And a big thank you to all of our partners for putting on this event. You are watching this broadcast because of Hayward Magic and TrackTown USA, who have allowed us to have this broadcast brought to you for free anywhere in the world. So you're watching in Paris, France right now. Good morning to you, I think.
Well, plus the prize money as well, right? Like it's the exciting races for the viewers, but this is the livelihood of these athletes. And in order to be a World Athletics silver level meet, you have to have a minimum, I believe, of 4 events, each of which have a $4,000 prize purse per event. And so we have that for 4 events here. That's huge to be able to have access to that kind of a prize purse at this time of a year. You know, these opportunities weren't around just a few years ago. And that, you know, if we want to build the sport, it's by creating opportunities like this for the fans and the athletes to be able to really, you know, come, enjoy, have the best quality put forward. Absolutely.
And let's dig into some of those races right now, too. So first up tonight, we've got the 3,000 meters, the women's 3,000 meters, and that's a tidy but mighty lineup, I think. We have Ella Donahue, who is representing the home squad, the Union Athletics Club, hosting squad here in the Podium. And she brings in an 8:48 best, which she ran last year in her season opener. And she also led off the relay, the DMR world record relay, running 3:16 on the 1,200 leg. So
you know, Pete says that it was her heart. You know, it took 4 people to get that world record, but like really, her performance, because that world record that was set last year was so close, and they got it. And Ella's performance is one that Pete really credits for them bringing it home.
Absolutely. And then she's going up against Grace Barnett Stallnaker, too, who has a 9:17 best, but I think we're about to see a significant drop here because she brings personal best of 15:12 in the 5K and 4:05 in the 1,500. So
I'm excited to see for these, you know, following as a fan of the sport. There's been some posts from the Mammoth Track Club. Both Karina and Grace are part of the Mammoth Track Club, and they had noted how they had the snowiest December and January of the last 40 years. And so some went down to San Diego to train. Some have stayed and braved like tunnels of snow to get their training in. And so, you know, I think 3K is a nice transition coming out of altitude, especially altitude as high as Mammoth, which is, you know, over 8,000 feet. And then snowy, somewhat challenging conditions. So it'll be cool to see the two of them work together in this 3K and hopefully, you know, get after the pace a bit.
Yeah, mammoth effort to get up here, but an opportunity that they cannot miss. Karina Viljoen is the other mammoth athlete that you were talking about, and South African athlete who brings an 8:56 into the field too. So that will be a great race to watch. We go from that race into the men's 1,500. So that's, followed by the high school girls mile, but let's just give you a rundown here. The men's 1,500, one of the silver level events in this meet right now. So prize money on the line, $2,500 for first, $1,000 for second, $500 for third, and then you can sweeten the pot as well if you'd like to.
There's still time.
You can throw in an extra if you like what you see out there. The athletes are running well.
Yeah.
You can put it in there, and I think what sweeten the pot might do in the future too is it also achieves that goal of ours in pushing the athletes to compete in matchups that we all want to see, and it gives you a hand of influencing those matchups that we all want to see. So, we are going to go to an ad spot pretty soon for TrackTown USA, and we will be right back. As we said, the season ends with the Prix Classic this year, but we are going to recognize national anthem.
And with that, that marks the beginning now.
All right, it's time for us to play track here. So we saw that somebody sent a $20 super chat on YouTube. Thank you very much. You can go to TRACKLND.com and sweeten the pot if you like. You can also, before we get to the 800 and 1,500-meter fields, you can go to TRACKLND.com. That's TRACKLND without an A and land, and fill out your fan poll, too, the old pick'em there. You pick your top 3 for each race, and the winner gets a TrackTown swag bag plus a $100 Nike gift card. So those that opportunity closes at the gun of each race, so make sure you get your picks in before that. And this is a star-studded lineup lining up right now. Before we get to the race, we're going to kick it over to Ella Donahue.
Last year, having this be the first time we hosted this meet as a team, and it was also the first year that our team was kind of an established team on the circuit, it was very, very cool to have a crowd show up like that and be so excited for us. And then to have our women's team break the world record together was like a very big statement that our team made. And so I think this year it's very exciting that we get to lead off the season with this meet and have it be a home meet for us. Goals for me are definitely to secure points for World Athletics and go for the win in any race that I'm entered in. TBD on what that will be, but yeah.
And that was Ella Donahue for the Union Athletics Club, the host team here. You can see her on the inside in blue there. A great field assembled tonight. So hip number 6 there is the pacer on the inside of Ella Donahue. That's Judy Jones. And the U.S. indoor standard this year is 8:55. So some of these athletes will be looking to hit that mark and head down to Albuquerque to compete for a national title. But in this field also we have Grace Stallnaker, Stevie Lawrence Rist, who is a British athlete, Mammoth Track Club, Kelsey Swenson of the University of Idaho, and Karina Viljoen. And the athletes are getting their introductions right now as the starter is bringing them up to the line. This is 15 laps on the indoor track, Shannon. What are they going to have to do here?
You know, it's always so fascinating at the start of a season because, as we've mentioned, you know, this is a small field but a strong field, and the bulk, if not all of them, coming from altitude. You know, really the indoor season, at least in my experience, is sort of this test of fitness and where you're at. I'm going to pause for the start and we can chat a bit more.
They're taking their instruction right now. And they're off. The women's 3,000 meters here at the Lilac Grand Prix is underway. Judy Jones moves to the front, and Ella Donahue tucks in right behind her. She carries that 8:48 best that opened her season last year, so we'll see what she can do here.
Right, and you know, so as I was saying, a lot of these athletes, winter is usually this opportunity to put in some strength. You're still, you know, months out from the World Championships that aren't until August. These athletes are using usually the indoor season as an opportunity to test where their fitness is at, to see how fast they can run off of this strength base that they've built. Having been coached by Pete, you know, I know that this winter season, you know, he never does just strength at one time and then just speed at another, but he's primarily focused on they're at altitude, they're putting in the mileage, they're getting in the work. And it's not until really, you know, later in the year as they get closer to the championships that they're doing a lot of sharpening. But this is an important test to see where they're at. And, you know, for Ella, 2 years into the program now, she's got to be having a lot of confidence in herself, a strong relationship with Pete, and an opportunity, as you see, having gone out right behind the pacer to just go after this standard that she wants to hit.
And about a 72 there for the first 400 meters with Judy Jones out front. Ella Donahue, then Karina Viljoen and Grace Barnett Stallnaker there. Grace, an amazing story there. 2 years ago, she had a massive PR down at the Sound Running invite, I think. Maybe it was the track meet, one of the Sound Running events.
There were a lot of massive PRs at that competition, yeah.
But she was dueling for the front in the second heat, ran 15:12, and I don't know how much time she knocked off her personal best, but it was a big chunk. Then last year, running 4:05 at the Portland Track Festival. We know that she can do a lot more damage than 9:17, and I saw her call that out earlier too when she saw that populate on the TRACKLND site that's her seed time. She said, "Oh, we got to do something about that."
It's fun for athletes, and I think it's really important for athletes to do a variety of events because it's a long season, it's a long career. If you only ever do the same race over and over again, it can become stale. It's important to be testing yourself at these different distances because you can kind of you learn about yourself in the process of doing an event that maybe isn't your primary event. And eventually, a lot of athletes will also move up in distance over time too. So, I think it's exciting to be able to start off the season with an event where, you feel like you have some low-hanging fruit because that's motivating so that you can really get out there without judgment and just go after it.
And here, Judy Jones is out front, too. She's got about a little over a 2-second gap on the field. So Ella Donahue doing a lot of work leading Viljoen and Stalnaker here. About 3:02 for Judy Jones through the 1,000, and 3:04 for Ella Donahue. So it looks like Viljoen's coming up to maybe share the load a little bit, get in front of Donahue, and maybe try to close that gap up to Judy Jones.
So just for reference, that 8:55 split that we talked about for the qualifying standard, that's about a 36-second per 200 meters. Of course, we're on an indoor track, so it's 200-meter splits that we're giving. And the 1K that they would have wanted to hit was 2:58 if they were spot on. Now, of course, in longer distance races, you don't necessarily need to go out right on pace. You can actually make up a lot of time over the last 400 to 600 meters if you've stayed within yourself. So, the fact that they're not exactly on pace at the start isn't concerning. But it does mean that you're going to see the pace pick up over the last K if they're going to want to get the time that they're hoping for.
And if there's anything we know that Ella Donahue can do, it's pick up the pace at the end, too. We saw last year at a sound running track meet, also in a 5,000, where she jumped into the second heat of that and blazed the last lap. I think she ran her last lap in close to 60 seconds to just out-lean the second-place finisher and take the win there. So we know that she's got some wheels when it comes to the finish. She just has to stay close there, and it looks like they're closing the gap on Judy Jones here.
Yeah.
And getting back on pace.
Yeah, and I think it's tough to. Nobody really wants to be leading from the gun most often, especially at the start of the season, especially when you're coming off of altitude and heavy training. And of course, you have two teammates. It's great to see them working together because there's going to be a lot of comfort in. They're used to sharing a lane on the track and they're used to each other's body language. So you can see the splits on the screen. Jones is hitting just under 35.9, just under 36 seconds for her 200-meter split. She's right on, doing a great job.
And we've got the 1,600 splits here, too. So this pack, Viljoen, up here with a 4:55 through the 1,600 meters.
About 10 seconds off of what the 8:55 kind of splits would be.
And now it's Stalnaker out in the front here, followed by Ella Donahue, the home team, and then Karina Viljoen behind her. Stalnaker making a push, like you said. It's been a tough, harsh winter down there in Mammoth, as it has been in Flagstaff, too, where a lot of these athletes train.
Yeah.
Very snowy. So conditions have been difficult to train this winter.
Yeah, that's the feedback I've gotten from the Flagstaff groups as well, is that, it's been an effort to get in the mileage because it's just been along the whole kind of western side of the country, a lot more rainfall, a lot more snowfall. But, it's early. You learn to adjust. You just have to, I think one of the athletes, I saw them share a post, Mother Nature is in charge, and you just got to roll with it.
2,000 meters reached in 6:11. So that is still under Stalnaker's personal best. We'll see if they can ratchet this pace down, or are they playing a little cat and mouse out here, seeing which one of these three athletes has in the tank and what they want to use in order to get the win tonight.
Yeah, got about coming on 4 laps to go, so half mile.
800 meters remaining here. And that was a 37.8 lap. Stallnaker at the front. And it's Mammoth, UAC, and Mammoth.
And a big gap.
Big gap back to 4th and 5th. And it's all this top 3 here.
You know, I think with Stallnaker, with this big, a big PB that she's anticipating, it's exciting to see her just put herself out there and go for it. And then, we'll see we're entering that exciting phase of the race where we get to see kind of the athletes are close enough that they'll start to throw down the moves and see if someone like Ella wants to try to push for that lead.
So do you see any anticipation on these athletes' faces or anything about their movement at this point that makes you think that they're about to make a move, or are they sitting right now?
Stallnaker looks really great to me. Ella's kind of clipping up on her, so it'll be interesting, although she's coming in on the inside, so it'll be interesting to see if she's going to go wide and try to get by. Vilhoen is falling back a bit. Her eyes are down. Her gaze is more inward. So, yep, here we see them separating a bit, and Ella coming out on the shoulder.
And it's inside 400 meters to go, so this is Donahue territory right here.
Yep.
But Stallnaker not giving an inch.
Held her off.
So this is under 300 meters to go now. Stallnaker fighting her off, but on the curve. Donahue takes the lead, and the crowd erupts. And here's that famous Donahue kick, looking over her shoulder. There's the bell. And she's turning on the heat right now. That is a big gap right away. We know Donahue's an intense athlete, too. When you talk to her, you can tell she's a very, very nice woman, but a ferocious competitor when she hits the oval. And you can see it now. She's not showing any mercy in this final circuit. Swinging onto the home straight. Singlet matching the track. She's blending right in. We'll see what she gets right at the line.
9:05.
And it looks like the clock stopped a little bit early here, so we have a 9:11.87. But yes, that famous Donahue kick comes through again in 30.99 for the final 200.
Yeah, you see with so her last 3 200-meter splits. So 600 to go was a 38, then a 34, and then a 30. So really, you could see coming. She tried on the back stretch with about 350 to go, was held off. Tried again, then coming into the final lap and was able to get by. And just once she went, she didn't stop. In comparison, that final lap of Grace was 37 versus Ella's 30. So,
Grace fought her off as long as she could.
Yes, she did, and she just missed that personal best that she was striving for. But props and major credit to her for doing so much of the work to try to keep the pace as honest as she could.
And a great way to start the season here for Ella, getting some high fives, some hugs from competitors. And we see the high school girls striding out here, too.
Yeah.
At the podium.
It's scary at the start of a season. You think you're fit. Like, I can speak from my experience. I've gone into races where I'm like, I got this. I'm going to be amazing. And you don't quite know your boundaries yet and your parameters. And there's probably still some parts of the equation that haven't been touched on yet. And so, which is why indoor racing is so important, because it gives you that check-in. Like, does my expectation meet my reality? All of these athletes, I think, will be walking away with some great information to take into the next 8 months of training.
And it's a long road to Hayward.
It is.
It's a long road to Hayward from here. I mean, Budapest first. Well, a lot of stops along the way first. Budapest, of course, is where the World Championships outdoors are this year, and that'll take place in the late summer. And then we have Prix Classic September 16th and 17th, I believe.
Yeah. We got the calendar up, but as you said, it's a long season for the athletes. It's important that they pace themselves. Let's see. So we've got Eugene as our Diamond League final all the way in September 16th and 17th. So
it's It's a long way to Hayward, but you got to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And we're starting out here at the Podium on opening day for track and field
Yes.
on the banks of the mighty Spokane River. And Ella Donahue closing out that 3K like a barrel over the Spokane Falls, too. Letting it rip.
Just full of them.
And we get another look at that finish here right now.
You know.
We got
Always
the
got to
tail end.
dive at the line.
That's right. She's too quick.
Yeah.
We couldn't get her.
Well, we can tell you, we can remind you what we saw, which was that with about 2 laps to go, Ella started to try to see if she could get by, held off on the backstretch, tried again on the going into the final lap, got by and did not. Well, she did look back once just to check the last 20 meters, but really didn't look back, just laid it on.
Yeah, really poured it on at the end. But here we have now getting ready to race is the Endless Mileage High School Girls Mile Field. And they're kitted out in some Nike swag. The Endless Mileage program, headed up by Ben Blankenship, is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to fostering sustainable environments and programming that inspire the next generation of track and field athletes to break barriers. And they do that in a lot of ways. One of them is by repurposing gently used athletic gear that they've been donated and then dispersing that throughout the community to underserved communities. So this is very nice of Nike to put up some uniforms for them in the spirit of Endless Mileage. And they're all kitted out there down on the track.
And they also have planted trees for everyone who has broken the 4-minute mile or the equivalent on the women's side. They have 754 trees planted to date, which is pretty wild. Apparently over 60 athletes broke that barrier in the last year, the most ever by a significant margin. So, you know, really, as they described it, you started with the idea that a 4-minute mile could never be broken, and now over 700 athletes who've done it, and really kind of, you know, if you can create that vision of what's possible, others will be inspired to strive for greatness.
From a seed comes a forest.
Exactly.
And the girls are lining up right now. We've got a great field assembled.
I got to give a shout out to my fellow CCS participant, Samira Kennedy from Castanea High School in Palo Alto, California.
That's the Central Coast section,
Central
correct?
Coast section, my section growing up.
I was a Sac Joaquin guy.
Nice. Yes.
Here we go. And they're off. The Endless Mileage High School Girls Miles. They start a little bit behind the finish line because this is a full mile.
Full mile.
It counts.
Love
And
it.
yeah, that is Samira Kennedy up front. And it was great to see. We went down into the warm-up area just before the broadcast, and she's a very big fan of yours.
So sweet. Her father is lovely, and the excitement that these athletes have to get an opportunity like this. You know, it wasn't long ago that you had to travel to the East Coast or to Europe to get a sanctioned indoor facility. Seattle has a beautiful indoor track, but it's a 300-meter track, so it's not. The times don't count for official records. To have a facility like the Podium where athletes, you know, it's been tailor-made for indoor track. You're right along the Centennial Trail. It's important, and to see these athletes showing up here, getting a taste of what is possible, is really inspiring.
Right in the heart of downtown too. So they come through in 75, so right at 5-minute pace. We have Logan Hofstee right behind Samira Kennedy there, and Hofstee is a local athlete from East Valley High School, so representing Spokane in front of the home crowd here. And she's hanging on to Samira Kennedy, who has the fastest seed coming into this race and traveling up from California, like we said. But Hofste from Washington, and then Ella Thorsett back there from Bend, Oregon. So this is a West Coast battle up front.
So Samira Kennedy's personal best of 4:49, followed by Hofste, 5 minutes personal best. Thorsett is 5:05 personal best. Burns 5:10 personal best, and Lube is 5:33.
5-woman race, and Samira Kennedy has been at front the whole time.
5-woman race, no pacer too. So Samira is the one setting the pace, saying, you know what, I'm gonna go after it. You know, with a PB of 4:49 to go out at 5-minute pace is a strong showing.
And this is some real racing too, like you said, no pacer up front, so the gloves are off.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of racing that I like to see too on the pro level.
Yep.
When you just leave it to a battle of wits as well as physical ability.
So we've slowed a bit. It was 75 for that first 400 meters, so 37, 37. Then we had a 39 and a 40. So it slowed down a little bit, but that's pretty typical with a mile or 1,500. You know, you get out strong. Typically, lap 2, you'll maybe settle in. That'll often be your slowest lap. Lap 3 builds a bit in anticipation for the finish, and then the last 400 is always quick. And we see Hofste coming wide, which tells me that she's thinking she might want to go. Of course, the pace slowed, so she'd be feeling that and moving out to kind of get some clearance so she's not clipping the heels of Kennedy. And now it's a matter of, you know, how does Kennedy react if and when Hofste comes up and tries to pass?
And 2:34 through the 800 meters, but their last lap passed was the K, or 1,009 meters. So 3:14 with a 39.7 200-meter circuit on that. And it's still Samira Kennedy up front, and Logan Hofste doesn't want to get to the front yet, but look at Thorsett coming up on the outside. And Hofste bunching up as well, so we see some rotating through the group here.
We're at that 400 to go, so now's the time when athletes are, you know, they can smell that finish line.
And now Hofste moves to the front, so this is the hometown star, East Valley High, Logan Hofste. Samira Kennedy coming back, moving up into second. Hofste leading this race. She competed last year.
It's about a 10, 15 meter gap.
Heading into the bell here. There it is.
Jassar put in another gear.
And that was a 35.4, so fastest lap of the race so far. And she got a jump on it, but she hasn't gotten rid of Samira Kennedy or Ella Thorsett just yet. Look at Samira Kennedy striding out down the back straight. Hofste's got some work to do here if she wants to hold her off. And she's coming on like a steam engine right now. Here we go. It's a battle. Kennedy and Hofste. Who's it going to be? Hofste trying to hold it, but it looks like Kennedy at the line.
That's a very impressive showing for both of them. You know, props to Kennedy for leading all but one lap of that race, and coming back after getting past. You know, it all happened so quickly where she was leading and Thorsett kind of passed her and she couldn't quite cover the move in time. Hofste then coming by as well, but for Kennedy to have that kind of self-awareness to just stay consistent, keep building and building, and then, you know, come by in that final 50 meters.
And you could see in that last shot, Ben Blankenship and Jesse Gabriel, too. The two of the founders of Endless Mileage there. Ben Blankenship, of course, an Olympian, great 1,500-meter runner, and told moving up to the marathon now, testing the waters,
yeah.
dipping the toe in. That's Endless Mileage.
Yeah. But they're, you know, something that's really cool to note. You might see it in the broadcast. Jesse's holding it. That wooden square, those are the awards for the top 3, and they're actually carved out of the Hayward Field stairs, which are stands, which is a piece of history that these young athletes are earning.
Yeah, how many greats and how many fans have stepped over those stands over the past few years, past many years. But yeah, a great piece of history to hang up in the house back home. And now we get a look at the great crowd being assembled here inside the podium.
Leading up to our first World Athletics silver standard race.
That's right. So this one, there's money on the line.
A lot of it.
And yeah, a lot of money on the line, and it is a World Athletics silver level event. So points on the line as well. Like we said, 100 points for first place. And then descending down further throughout the placing, down to 8th place, which I think will get somewhere in the range of 20 points. We will pull that up.
It's right here. You can see.
Oh, yeah, there it is. 80 points for second, 70 points for third, 60 for fourth. And then down the line. This is a loaded field that we're looking at in the men's 1500. Very excited about this one. Clayton Murphy, actually, the new father himself, won the 1,000 meters last week at the Iowa Hawkeye Classic of the American Track League, and we were there in attendance watching him. And he made a move down the home stretch to gain the lead, just kind of eased in front of the second place athlete.
As he does.
And said that, hey, I didn't need the final gear for that. So we'll see if he needs it tonight. He said he might at the press conference.
It's been a big, a lot of change for Clayton over the last few years. He's changed coaches. He's back home in Ohio training with his college coach. He and his wife have a child. Their son was born on 27 weeks into her pregnancy, little baby Cash. He's doing great, but there's been a lot in his life, but looks like some really great purpose and focus.
Not the engine. Hello.
And Luis Grijalva looking to make a move on the outside. Can anybody get to him at the moment? Taking the win.
Another great graphic.
Some racing. It's all about the racing.
It is.
And that's what we saw last year, that Charlie Hunter took the win in the 1500 here at the Lilac Grand Prix, and he'll be racing the 800 meters later. But we showed you the scorecards on the screen a bit ago, and the fans have, it looks like, Charles Philibert-Thiboutot as their favorite right now, with Clayton Murphy in second and then Henry Wynn coming up in third. So we'll see if the fans are right as a whole. But we see CPT being introduced there, the top contender, and he's a bold racer, not afraid to take the lead when he needs to, and also call out his competitors and say, hey, if you want to run fast times, you got to get to the front and push the pace.
Yeah, I was reading some of his posts from before, and he talked about, last year just with some expletives, sucked, he called it. And, that he really just took some time to go back to the drawing board and, put in the work. He seems excited. He seems confident going into this year. And, this, because of COVID, it is back-to-back that we have going on. We had Tokyo, then we had Eugene, we have Budapest, then we have Paris, and then. So, it's great to see him feeling like he's in a place with a clear focus going forward.
And we see Amos Bartlesmeyer wearing the new blue UAC kit, former Bowerman athlete there, and then also new kits on the OTC athletes. OTC going through a bit of a rebrand here, but we have Reed Brown and Matt Wisner wearing the nice green colors there for Gang Green.
And we got the Pace Pirate up front.
The Pace Pirate looking to steal some seconds for these runners here. I think he's more of a pace privateer because he's paid to do his job.
Very true.
But that's politics, so we'll stay out of it. We have the Pace Pirate up front, and then Charles Philibert-Thiboutot, the Canadian athlete, in the New Balance kit, tucked in second. Clayton Murphy stalking him in third at the moment. And then Henry Wynn. So all the favorites in tow, and Amos Bartlesmeyer following them too. Bartlesmeyer himself, a 3:35 guy. But look at Wisner coming up on the outside, trying to get in front of Wynn. That is a 45-second first 300 meters. So around 60-second pace. I think the pace that they were looking for is slightly faster than that. We'll see if the Pirate can get some seconds back. But very little movement at the moment here as everybody's still in line. And we've got a 29-second circuit for that one, so they're inching back some seconds. We've got Bartlesmeyer coming up, passing Henry Wynn on the back straight. So that's the UAC overtaking the Brooks Beast. Brooks Beast out of Seattle. This is also in their backyard.
A bit of separation from that top three, but that gap just got closed, as I say it, by Bartlesmeyer. So now, and you can see by how it's strung out that the pace is strong. When you have that, couple feet of gap between the athletes, it means that between each athlete, it means that they're really pushing, and really it's CPT that is seems to have injected some speed. And now Clayton, having seen that gap being formed, or excuse me, not Clayton, Bartlesmeyer, having seen that gap being formed, is now coming in to close it.
Yeah, that's Bartlesmeyer moving into second. We were told around a 156 through the 800 meters there. Pace Pirate does his job, Craig Nowak, and now CPT is at the front. But Amos Bartlesmeyer is stalking him, and he recently ran a 5,000-meter best of 13:17. So the man is fit, and he has an engine, and we'll see if he has the speed right now to maneuver around this indoor track. The tight turns. We're inside 400 meters to go. You can see 28.8 there. So Philibert-Thiboutot not letting up, keeping the pace hot, 28.8. There's a gap back to Clayton Murphy, and I think Henry Wynn is trying to get on his horse now, catch up to Murphy in third. But it's a two-man race up front, CPT and Bartlesmeyer. There's the bell. CPT has the pole, and Bartlesmeyer has some work to do. He's gearing up. He's trying to go around him onto the back straight, and he does. He gets the lead and some daylight. Look at that speed. Look at those wheels. Swinging around the curve. This is Bartlesmeyer making his debut in the blue for the Union Athletics Club, and a commanding victory.
All within the last 120 meters or so as well. It got about 40 meters in the last 120 meters.
UAC holds on, defends their title in the 1500. Charlie Hunter took it last year, and now it's Bartlesmeyer's 3:39.9 with a final 200-meter circuit of 27.4.
For reference, we had Bartlesmeyer 27 for his last 200. CPT, as you call him, 30 for his last 200, and Henry Wynn a 28, down to Reed Brown 31. Clayton Murphy faded a bit with a 33, and Bryce Richards in a 31 last 200 meter. But the way that Bartlesmeyer closed that gap when he saw it being formed, it was so fluid. It seemed so natural, no effort to get there, which told me. This is him finishing just growing that daylight. But it was a couple laps earlier when that gap was formed. He saw it. He moved efficiently to get into place. So he was right behind the leader. And then, over that last 150 meters, just came off the turn and went for it.
And waving a number one to the crowd, too. 3:39, a nice little opener for Bartlesmeyer, and snatches the prize purse, the lion's share of it as well. So that is worth, for reference, the time, 3:39, is worth roughly 1,160 points, but you add on 100 points for the win because it's World Athletics silver level. So that's a 1260 and boosts his standing quite a bit. Just to put it in reference, the fields in Budapest will be 56 athletes, and the 56th ranked individual averaged 1187 across their five best performances last year. So Bartlesmeyer's performance eclipses that. Mm-hmm. So if he can just rattle off 4 more of those, he's safely into Budapest. And he might end up here, too. So we've got the Prefontaine Classic, like we were saying, the anticipation, the roar, the heritage, the Diamond League Final. The world's best return to Hayward Field for the Prefontaine Classic, September 16th through 17th. Visit preclassic.com for ticket information. Heed the calling. Hayward awaits. Make it to Hayward late this summer, early fall. We'll be there.
Absolutely. It is a place, it is an experience.
And here we have the Endless Mileage High School Boys Mile. So you already know what Endless Mileage is and the good that they're doing in the running community. And these guys, they flock to this place too. They hear an event like this is going on, and look at that swag they've got on too. The nice orange shorts with the white top, looking clean, as the kids say. I think maybe kids like recently. I don't know what they're saying right now. But
It's quite a field.
some great hair out there too, as there always is in the high school boys race. Some great flow. Lettuce, the cabbage.
Never a dull moment with you, Jeff. Never a dull moment.
We keep it exciting, as do the kids. Wes Shipsey is in the field here, and we're excited to see what he can do. Last year, he was a bulldog in this race. Led it from start nearly to finish, was pipped at the line, but since then, he's done some work and ratcheted his PB down to 4:06.
When you have to imagine, too, like, to have done all of the work and just get pipped at the line gives you that extra motivation for the work that he did the rest of the year, but then also showing back up here today. The best athletes, they learn from both successes and from disappointments. Not that that was a disappointing race, but we all want to win. We'll see kind of how he takes that experience into tonight's race.
And he's facing off against, like we said, a great field. I believe there are 5 athletes who have run under 4:12 in this field, and everyone here has run under 4:20. And we've got the local fans out here, too, excited to see what their boys can do. And they just saw some of the best run the 1,500 and are no doubt inspired to get after it themselves. Maybe a little too eager here.
I'm very excited.
Let's see. Guns up. Everybody's good. And they're cleanly off now. It is a big group of boys, and you can hear them rumbling down the track. Love the sound of those boards. It's indoor season.
We had a chance to do a little jog on the track before your pre-race tradition to feel it out, and it is a fast track with as you were describing, we think a pretty ideal turn for these middle distance races. Steep but not so steep that it throws you into the infield.
I think it's not as shallow as the pure distance runners would like it to be, but it's right. It's perfect for middle distance running. The angle here.
Right.
But yeah, we got to keep these guys inside the ring, so we need those banks steep because we don't want one flying off the outside. But the group is tightly bunched here.
For the first 200-meter split, Brody Hartley in 32. Once again, no pacers, so it's up to the athletes to make the race if they want it.
All right, and we're going to send it down to our 1,500-meter winner, who is going to have an interview right now.
All right, we're down trackside with the newest UAC member, Amos Bartlesmeyer, winner of the TrackTown USA Men's 1500. How's it feel? First win in the new kit? To start the season, how's that feel for you?
Feels good, It's always nice to, start things off on a positive note when you join a new club, and so, I'm excited about this year. Been feeling good, and great venue here. So it was really fun to come here and get a win.
So obviously closing in 27 there, CPT passing him at the end. That's got to be a good way to start the season off, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy with that. I wasn't thinking too much about kind of the time. I just wanted to compete and then start off the season on a good note. So yeah, I'm definitely satisfied.
And that's also 2 for 2 for UAC because obviously Ella winning the 3K so far. So hey, at your home meet, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's good. Representing the club well.
Well, there you go. Thanks, Amos. Congrats. And Jeff, we'll go back to you.
Perfect. Yeah, looking good in the blue down there, and I know Jake's looking good in the fly sneakers that he's always rocking. So
you can see the men's race or the high school boys race strung out. That means they've been getting after the pace. We see Cutting in the lead. Thus far, it was 2:09 at the 809 meter split. They just hit the 1,009 meter split at 2:42. They've been 32s, 33s, injected a bit of speed with a 31 on that fourth lap in. Now settle back into 32s.
Carter Cutting out front, and it looks like, yeah, they're ratcheting the pace down, which is a little different than you normally see from a high school boys race where they usually get out barnstormingly hot. But we've got Wes Shipsey coming up, overtaking Carter Cutting. Cutting, an 800-meter specialist, but also very good over the mile. And now Shipsey taking a different strategy from last year. So we're inside 400 meters to go, and that's another 31-second 200, about 3:13 at 12:09. So we'll see. Last year they closed well under 60 seconds. So we'll see what Shipsey has in the tank, and these other boys as well.
He's already really starting to lay it on a little bit early, going into that last lap with some emphasis.
That was a 29.79. So under 60-second pace, and we'll see what he can close this final lap out. But he hasn't gotten rid of his competitors yet. Anything can happen in the final 100 meters. We'll see if Shipsey has the strength to hold on here.
It's looking good to me. He's looking strong.
From Portland, Oregon, the Stark Street Elite here. Wes Shipsey crosses the line in about 4:12. Another 29.79. So twin final 200s there for Wes Shipsey. Perfect pacing. He executed that race beautifully for a 4:13 over Carter Cutting and Zach Munson there, 4:15.
Mm-hmm. We had 29.79 for Shipsey's final lap compared to Cutting's 30.72 and Munson's 31.49. Strong finish by Heslem in fourth, 29-second, fastest final split. But it was Shipsey who brought home the win tonight.
Yeah, Shipsey doing all of the work last year, but now changes it up a little bit. He's had a year to think about it. He comes back into the podium, really with that second place weighing on him. Comes out with the beautiful Hayward Field trophy too, the endless mileage trophy.
And committed to Wake Forest next year. Lots of wood in his life.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to entertain ourselves. No, the races are plenty of entertainment, and congrats to Shipsey on, as we were talking about at the beginning, racing great last year, getting nipped at the line, and then to come back, totally different strategy, and to take home the win with a really strong, not just last lap, but last two laps.
Yeah, and we have the women's 1,500 meters assembling on the line here. The TrackTown USA Women's 1,500 meters.
We have Ella coming back to pace this. You'll see that a lot with athletes where they'll do a race, especially in these early season meets. They'll do a race and then they'll come back to help out as a pacer, or they'll do a workout afterwards, because this is really, part of their building block towards success.
And we'll hear from one of them right now.
Last year at the Podium was definitely a night that we all can remember. Breaking the world record obviously was a really exciting point, but I think even more so it just brought the community of Spokane and to introduce indoor track and field to the West Coast, because I feel like it's more typically of an East Coast thing where we're always traveling to New York and stuff, so to have facility on the West Coast was really special. I think our goal is to just show that we as a group can have that kind of depth and that kind of talent to have a world record in the DMR. This meet is growing attention from sponsors, from fans, from the community, and I'm really excited to see
it put on this year and see where we can take it for years to come.
Watch the flag.
They're off.
Commanding the field right now. And she's got it. She's under. She's hit the standard. Take the win here last year in 4:08.9, and she got the win over the top contender in the field, I would say, the heavy favorite, Jess Hull, coming into the race. So here we see the prize purse on the screen, and this is what it sits right now, and Sweeten the Pot is still open for you out there willing to do it. But Allie Cash on our inside recently ran 4:34 in the mile, opening up at UW. And here we see some of the fan favorites. Sinclair Johnson in the field, the reigning U.S. champion in this distance. She did that last year at Hayward Field. And then Eleanor Fulton, too, 6th ranked in the United States. An amazing year last year, set PRs in 8 distances from 800 all the way up to 5,000 meters. So I would say there are most dangerous athletes in the field, as you can see. Sinclair here, making the world team last year.
Huge PB for her as well.
Dangerous.
National champion.
And we also have a great group of athletes assembled in this race. Gabby Jennings, who is rounded herself out to be a steeplechase contender, but no doubt a great 1,500-meter runner. And they go to the line. And they're off here. Hannah Hermansson of Sweden, too. And the Valor Track Club, 4:05, 1,500-meter athlete. And this is Allie Cash on the inside, but we see Ella Donahue coming back from her 3K victory to set up this race. And Eleanor Fulton goes straight to the front. And that's something that she's been working on. She's an unsponsored athlete, and she knows she has to make a statement every time she goes out to get some attention, too. And she definitely is doing that.
You know, she did not only the 8 personal bests that you mentioned, but also some strong finishes in those races. It wasn't like she just was buried in the pack getting these fast times. She also got 3rd at the 5th Avenue Mile and was 7th at the 5K Road Championships. And you know that consistency across the board, both in times and in placement, is a really important sign for an athlete's development and success.
One of Portland's favorite athletes. She lives and trains in Portland, Oregon, and she's known as the Rose City Queen there.
I've never heard of, just such love for her.
So Allie Cash sitting right behind Eleanor Fulton there. Ella Donahue up front with the pacing still, and you can see Sinclair Johnson tucked in there, looking real easy behind Allie Cash. So different styles of racing here, different strategies employed by these different athletes. And we know Sinclair Johnson can really bring the speed at the end of the race. And she did that to win the national title, running 4:03, closing in under 60 seconds for 400 meters, which is something that's tough to deal with for competitors.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of personal best, 3:58.85 is about 4 or 5 seconds quicker than the next fastest personal best that we have in this race. But it is early season. Personal bests don't dictate all, but it definitely tells you that capability, that engine is there. And, you know, for Sinclair to have to have Ella pacing this race is really, really helpful to know that it's going to get out strong and not become messy and chaotic. The athletes are bunched together, so there's a lot of people that are out here wanting to get after it. The indoor standard for U.S. athletes, at least, is 4:09, which is a 33 per 200, 66 seconds per 400. And thus far, they've been right around there.
So close to a lap back, they came through 800 meters in 2:12 as Ella Donahue stepped off the track. And now it is all Eleanor Fulton up in the front with Sinclair Johnson and Gabby Jennings and Allie Cash. And that is the 4 that is separating themselves right now. And Gabby Jennings really had a great year last year, stepping up through the steeplechase and really making herself known on the scene there. So I would look for her as we get into these last couple laps as a real threat in this race too. Allie Cash had an injury year last year, so something that she was dealing with, but she's back with a vengeance, like I said, opening up in 4:34. And Sinclair Johnson to the front right now, and Gabby Jennings is going with her as well. So taking it before a lap to go. Sinclair Johnson taking control of this race and ratcheting down the pace. She is the fan favorite, getting 200 votes. And that's the bell lap. Sinclair Johnson of the Union Athletics Club stretching the field here. And you can see the cadence pick up with those pink spikes turning over faster and faster. Here it is, 100 meters to go. This is all Sinclair Johnson. And such a relaxed look on her face, too, as she makes her way around the turn. Not straining, not concerned, just looking up. A great distance here. And 4:08 for the win.
30 seconds for the last 200 meters. It's deceiving, really. You know, she runs a 30-second 200-meter split and just looks smooth and relaxed, and you could easily be fooled to think it was something much slower. But I think that speaks to, once again, I mean, this is 10 seconds slower than her personal best. Not that it's easy. It's never easy. But she has gotten the U.S. indoor standard for the indoor nationals, which will be in Albuquerque. And she closed in a strong finish coming out of altitude training, which hasn't been the easiest in flag because of the snow and the logistics, but clearly, it served her well.
Yeah, 4:08.3, grabbing the points, grabbing the prize purse, getting the win. We see Gabby Jennings there, strong second, 4:12, and then Eleanor Fulton holding on after doing the work in those middle laps, 4:14 for her. So that's the podium here in the podium, taking the purse.
Well, and I think it's really, you look at the distance, so from 4:08 in first to 4:12 in second and 4:14 in third, all strong performances, but, that gap in time, that 4 seconds gap came all in the last lap, which is pretty exciting to see, pretty impressive to see as well.
Yeah, 4 seconds in a little over a lap to go, but 30 seconds for that final lap, looking silky smooth too. It's going to be a great year for Sinclair Johnson, it looks like, starting out already with a win here at the Lilac Grand Prix in the TrackTown USA Women's 1500 meters. And now we get a glimpse of the men's 800 meters, the Total Running Productions men's 800 meters. Total Running Productions, a great YouTube channel where you can catch a lot of the highlights of the sport and some analysis into how those performances are done and a little insight into the athletes behind them. So check that out. And thank you very much to Total Running Productions, too, for making this race possible. We get a look at Isaiah Harris there of the Beasts in the yellow on the outside. He had a thrilling race here at the Lilac Grand Prix last year, a match race in the 600 against Donovan Brazier, where Don ran 1:13, one of the fastest indoor times ever, second only to himself, I believe. And Isaiah Harris putting himself up in the top 10 as well, running 1:14 in that race. So he's ready to rip it again here at the podium. We also see Noah Kibet. He is the world indoor silver medalist from 2022, 17, or he did that at 17, so he's 18 now. Started running at 16. I think he ran his first 800 at 16 and ran 1:52, but that was after he came over from handball. So it's all that handball training, I guess, that got him to be so quick on the oval.
Who needs soccer? Go for handball.
All right, we're going to kick it over to another dangerous man in this field right now.
Yeah, last year was a lot of fun. That was my season opener, and it's going to be the same this year. It's a fantastic track, super quick, great atmosphere. That was like one of the main things I remember. Like the crowd was unreal. So really looking forward to it. Training's gone really well, and I just look forward to getting out there and seeing how the season's going to go. Just want to be competitive and just give them my all. Like put myself out there and just see where I can place. overall, I just want to race to win and hopefully get some good times on the board. I imagine a lot of other runners are gonna see that it's a silver label event and come out to race. I think we've all learned that the point system actually really does count going towards major championships. So yeah, that's fantastic. I hope to race in as many gold, silver, bronze races as possible.
That was Charlie Hunter, the Union Athletics Club. He won the 1,500 meters here last year, and you can see he is an 800-meter Olympian for Australia. His danger icon on the screen. But Charlie had a great season coming out of Oregon, and I think a lot of times we think, oh, athletes can handle a ton of racing because we see these college athletes going way into the late summer. But oftentimes it's that transition year, the next year, where they feel the residual effects of that.
Right.
So he worked through his first pro year there, still running 145 and taking the win here. Also running 334 in the 15. But it looks like 2023 could be a very good year for Hunter.
Yeah. I've heard from coaches that it takes about a year or two for you to really see how you've adapted to a program. And so for some of these athletes who have had coaching changes, and there's been a lot, these years ahead will be a chance to see, really how they're adapting as you kind of phase out of the training from before and really acclimate to the training of now.
Yeah, and we are starting this in alleys here because we have 7 men on the line, including the Rabbit. So this is a glimpse at the first alley, which is Georgia Spino on the left, Isaiah Harris, Charlie Hunter, and Noah Cabet. And they're off right now. We got Tommy O'Neill getting out there in the USA uniform. He is a Gonzaga athlete, also an Oregon State champ in the 800 meters, so he's leading the guys through. And we've got Isaiah Harris rumbling on the boards as everybody looks to tuck in at the pole here. Noah Cabet inching ahead of Harris as he puts an arm out. Easy does it.
Just squeezed in.
So about a 26 there through 200 meters, 26 low.
Strung out.
And O'Neill still out front, but we've got Cabet, Harris, and then Lorenz Herman out there, the University of Idaho athlete who ran 149 here last year and has since run 146 outdoors. So now it's Cabet.
52. Harris trying to pass. Cabet holding him off.
Cabet still very raw, but has a great build for indoor racing here, and he has the medals to show for it. Indoor silver medalist. But Cabet out front as Isaiah Harris has tried to pass numerous times. About 119 through 600 meters.
That's about the indoor standard for, at least for U.S. champs, is 147, and they're right on that pace.
Harris with that high punching form here, trying to make a move on Cabet, but Cabet with the blades out now, swinging them, and he's coming onto the home straight. Noah Cabet, the 18-year-old Kenyan here. 146 it looks like. The silver medalist takes the win here in Spokane in the total running men's 800 meters. 146.74 to open his season for Noah Cabet. Isaiah Harris, 147.27. And Charlie Hunter, 147.99. That's your podium.
Mm-hmm. With about 300 to go, we saw Harris try to see if he could get by. Indoor racing is so interesting. It's almost like a fartlek at times because you really have to time when you're passing based on the turns. You want to be trying to make that move so that you get by on the straightaways that are flat. Because once you hit that turn, then you also have an uphill, not only in addition to having to go faster. And so, we saw Harris. He tried to get by Cabet, but Cabet said, nope, I'm just going to hold you off for this 50 meters right here. And you can play with your competitors that way. You can, really challenge them to get by you. And if they can't make it by that turn, then it's just that much harder. And sometimes you can break them.
Cabet looked like he was bungeeing a little bit, he was stepping down on the pace, maybe easing up, like baiting Harris a little bit. I don't know if that's a handball tactic or not.
Perhaps.
But wise beyond his years and gets the purse here at the Lilac Grand Prix and the share of points that comes with it. So, next up, we have the men's 3,000 meter race, which is also another tidy but mighty field here. As we see a few of the Oregon Track Club athletes warming up, most notable Cole Hawker here. He is opening his season here at the Podium in 3,000 meters. Last year, here at this same venue, he took 2 U.S. titles in the 1,500 and the 3,000 meters, 3:39 and 7:47. And there's Matt Wisner doubling back, and you see the pace pirate, and also a name in here that we know and we love, but in a different uniform. Boy Blue out there, David Ribich. He's coming over from the Brooks Beast, made a transition, joined Union Athletics Club in the last couple months, and has been training with them down in Albuquerque. I think last season he had some success at the end, running 3:35 to cap off his season down at one of the sound running meets in LA on the Sunset Tour. And he's feeling pretty good coming into this season. Dave's he's an intense guy, and he wants to do the right thing. He wants to make every race great. And I think now, like, he knows having a good time is the way to go. And he's got a new lease on life and a new start here with the Union Athletics Club.
Yeah, there's been a big growth of that team, and in talking to the coaching staff, it seems like they've moved from that kind of creation and like kind of the chaos of getting started as a team to really settling into kind of what their identity is, what the team dynamic will be, systems and routines, and to see then the team not only focusing on the athletes, but focusing on all athletes by participating in putting on events like this is really exciting for the future of our sport.
Yeah, and all love with the Beast, too. All between
yeah.
him and his teammates, and Danny Mackey as well, the skipper of the Beast.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we can see Ivo Balabanov there on the line, and a Bulgarian athlete. And then Jack Urian of the OTC. Matt Wisner, and the pace pirate Craig Nowak. But Cole Hawker, all eyes on him as he opens his season.
Also excited. Gonna reset a little bit.
It's first race of the year here. Back to the line. And now the men's 3K is off. One of the biggest names in the meet here, Cole Hawker. And last year, not quite what he wanted with the World Championships coming to Hayward Field. But I would say still an outstanding year, claiming 2 USATF championships indoors and still running 350 outdoors in the Prefontaine Bowerman Mile. So not a bad year by anybody's standards, but he wants more, and he's back for it here.
As the best always do, right? You don't want to just win. You want to win with a personal best that sets a record. I mean, we're all so ambitious. And so, it may have fallen short of what his dreams were in theory, but strong and impressive, especially coming off of college. It can be really tough to make that transition. And so his consistency of performance is really an important sign of kind of who he is as an athlete and what the future might hold.
And we're going to keep an eye to this race, but we're going to bring you an interview with Noah Cabet, too, the 800-meter champ.
800-meter. Noah, how do you feel out there?
I'm feeling so great. I thank to my team. I thank to Peter coach for Peter, for assisting me for a good program. Good training, so I'm so happy today because this is my first event. For this year, I have made it 1:46.74. I am so happy for that, and I'm going to work hard for this year. I think the season opening to me, I'm so happy for that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And also UAC so far won every single event here. So Noah, all your teammates also winning today. How do you feel about that? Your team has got to be a really cool environment, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling good because it is the work of coach. You have made us proud. You saw everybody performing good. So we were happy as a team, and me, I'm happy for the new in the camp of Athletic Union. So I'm happy for welcome me, and I'm continue training. Thank you.
There you go.
Noah Cabet, our winner of the men's 800. Congrats, dude.
So Noah Cabet, not officially a Union Athletics Club team member yet. He hasn't donned the blue quite yet, but he's training with Pete Julian's group at the moment and looks to be doing very well. But we're back here with the 3,000 meters and 2:06 through the 800 meters. Everybody's still in it. We know Cole Hawker right up there sitting behind Craig Nowak, the rabbit. And then Jack Urian. You have David Ribich with the beautiful flow bouncing back and forth in the blue uniform. And then Ivo Balabanov there, the Bulgarian athlete. And he comes in with about an 8 flat personal best, but looking to try to get the national record for Bulgaria, which is 7:55.4. And Matt Wisner tucked in there in the back too, jumping in after the 1500.
The whole field is all together, strung out. We're seeing just now a little gap potentially forming between Yerian and Ribich, but now getting closed again. The indoor qualifying standard is 7:46. So this next split we'll be looking to see at 3:37 or so if they were exactly on pace. So they're a little under it, but as we said before, that in a longer race is not a huge deal because so much time can be made up in the last 400.
So Cole Hawker there, we didn't say as well that he ran a 7:39 last year at the Millrose Games in a very competitive race where we saw George Beamish take the win, but Cole Hawker nosing it to the end and getting a PR out of that. Jack Urian behind Cole Hawker has a 7:47 best, also a 3:37 1,500 meter man. And Dave Ribich trying to maintain contact with Jack Urian right now.
Pacer has stepped off, and so now it is Cole in the lead. See how he does maintaining the pace as we come up on the last split. It's been pretty consistent, 32 low, 31 high, all throughout. We had some 31 lows right at the 1,600 meter split.
Hawker. Many people believe that Hawker is the future of U.S. miling, and rightfully so, getting 6th place at the Olympics in his senior year in college. And there are spells that we go through where we think it's impossible for a college athlete to come up and do something like that, and then until somebody does it, and then that's the new standard, and then that might even be the expectation going forward. But
an inspiration and challenge to their peers as well.
But yeah, you can never doubt this man. He's I think even back then, he was kind of feeling out his raw abilities too, and you could see that he would get stuck in certain spots of races and then release himself and just have this unbridled speed that he could just storm down the home stretch with. So I think as he gets further and further into this professional realm, he's able to understand himself more and what he can do and how he can utilize his very rare set of skills.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times you see that speed come on, but it'll often come in athletes from the back, and you wonder, could you have, with the right training or with the confidence, been a little further forward and, maybe your finishing kick isn't as blistering, but the time is quicker, or you're beating more of those like top contenders. And so for him, as you're saying, as he develops his aerobic capacity, as he sharpens his racing tactics, the potential that is there.
The man has a bright future, and now Ribich has moved into 2nd place here, and it looks like Balabanov has moved into 3rd place, overtaking Jack Urian. So Ribich in a bit of no man's land, but Hawker out front as well. I mean, staring into the abyss himself. And doing a lot of that lonely work out front.
Consistently clicking off 31.3, 31.3, 31.5. 2 laps to go.
So we're inside 400 meters to go. 2,600 reached at 6:50.
We got about 25 meters between Hawker and Ribich.
So Ribich doing what he can here. Wearing the new kit. And everybody's putting their hands together for Hawker as he comes down the home straight. This one looks like it's in the bag. And there's the bell, unless Ribich has something scary up his sleeve here. But Hawker seems to be the most dangerous man out on the track at the moment, and he's got this thing pretty much in hand as I'd say he's ratcheting it up the pace a little bit down the back stretch, just giving the fans a little taste.
Yep, he's clearly got the win, but he's still accelerating towards the finish.
Yeah, now he comes on to the final stretch, and this is Cole Hawker in front of the crowd where he won 2 national titles last year, easing up at the line in a 7:51 thereabouts, 7:51.5. Second place for Dave Ribich of the Union Athletics Club, and now Ivo Balabanov coming in for third place in the 3,000 meters. Jack Urian coming in as well. So Dave Ribich, 7:58. And that'll do it for the men's 3,000 meters as we get a glimpse of Cole Hawker down there on the track.
It was a 29.6 for his last 200 meters.
Light work, making it look easy.
It was exciting to see that confidence when you already have the win, but you still kick it a little bit.
Yeah, and we'll get a glimpse of that right now. So here he is, looking smooth as all get out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got a flashback to the 800 meters just for a second because Noah Cabet wanted some more scream time.
And it was that fast, you know.
Yeah.
But it's the Cole Hawker show in this race. You know, he was right on the pacer from the gun, and then when the pacer left, it was him still and him till the finish.
Looking like a tempo run out there. But here we go. We've got a tight schedule, and we're coming up on the final event of the night, too, the women's 800 meters. Before we do that, we'd like to bring in a guest.
A very special guest.
Very, very special guest to talk a little bit about the upcoming race because you know her. She's involved in this race much of the time.
The suspense must be killing you.
Raven Rogers, welcome to the commentary booth.
Thank you.
How is it watching your teammates out here on the track? They've taken, the lion's share of the wins tonight.
I think it's even better for me being that I've been at camp with them, for the past couple weeks, and to see how hard that they work every day. The girls have been working hard in flag, but to come here and compete and to really just set the season off and kick it off with a good start, I feel like they're doing an amazing job.
Yeah, they really are. They're racing out there.
Yeah.
Good job racing.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How's the body feeling? You feeling good? Ready to get into the season?
Yeah. Body feels great. Training has been going really great. I'm actually more eager when I watch them compete. I'm like, man, I wish I was out there. But it's okay, all in all, I'm healthy and I'm looking forward to the season.
Fantastic. And we've got a lot of your competitors towing the line out here in this next race, the women's 800 meters. You're not a 3,000 meter runner.
No, you're not going to see me in a 3,000.
Before we get to the women's 800, we're going to send it down to Jake again. He's got Cole Hawker trackside.
All right, we're down trackside with Cole Hawker. You have a little bit of history on this track from last year. 2 U.S. championship titles. That's pretty big. But how'd you feel out there today, coming back to the Lilac Grand Prix?
Yeah, it was good. Being in Spokane, I definitely was reminded of last year's victories and felt a little more at home on this track. The crowd was just as alive as last year. But, yeah, it was just good to get back on the track for the first time in a while. Kind of the second time touching track work this winter / spring build-up, I guess. So it was good to get back out there.
And then obviously you got Millrose coming up, but and you ran a cross-country race too. We ran Club Cross out in December, so you're kind of mixing up in differences and doing a bunch of different things. So how is this a stepping stone for Millrose and the rest of the season for you?
Yeah, definitely. That's the way I'm looking at it, as a stepping stone. I did 3K at Millrose last year because that was my first race, but this year, luckily Lilac timed up perfectly. So I'm really excited to cut down to the mile, and I feel like I can do a lot of damage.
And Millrose Mile, obviously, that's a big one. Wanamaker is always a prize race, so getting you in that's obviously going to elevate it, but we're excited to see that. But thanks for opening up today. Congrats on the win, Cole.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Jake. We look forward to seeing Cole at Millrose in the Wanamaker Mile. But let's take a look at this. As you can see, an amazing field here in the women's 800 meters. We got Kayla Edwards on the inside. Michaela Meyer down in the blue for the first time, 158 runner. And Madeline Kelly next to her, twice under 2 minutes last year, the Canadian, 159.7 at the Portland Track Festival. We've got Aaliyah Miller, too, for Team Boss and on running, and then Lori Barton to her outside. And the women are off, and there's an alley on the outside, too. So we've got McKenna Keegan on the outside as well as Sammy Watson. So this race here, you have to run under 2:02 to get into this field. A very competitive field here.
2:01.50 for the indoor standard as well, just for reference for everyone.
And we see Eleanor Fulton moving to the front there, pacing this race. But Kayla Edwards tucked in behind her, and then Sammy Watson behind her. So
9:49 for that first 200.
Making their way down the back straight. And we've got the Union sitting in the back half of the field. We'll see what they can do if they can get up front towards the latter half of this race. But keep an eye on Madeline Kelly, too, sitting in that third position now as Eleanor Fulton pulls off in just under 60 seconds. So they're out hot. They're out well. And Kayla Edwards opening up her season in 4:32 at UW a while back. She's got the strength, and she's getting a gap on the field. And she looks strong.
Yeah, you know, she's got a couple meters on the rest of the field, and then there's a bit of a clump in the back. Going into one lap to go, there's not much room for much difference to happen. Usually the 800 is more about like who dies the least. But Kayla looks strong.
Kayla up front and looking very smooth. This has been smooth sailing for her as she came through about 130.8 through 600 and approaching 100 to go. Sammy Watson has the best position to do anything against Kayla Edwards right now. But Kayla, it looks like she was holding on to something, and she lets it all rip down the home stretch, looking very strong, pumping her arms towards the finish. And she gets in at right around 2:01, maybe slightly under. So a great opener in the 800 meters for Kayla Edwards, taking the win here at the podium. Madeline Kelly, 2:03.37. And then Samantha Watson coming in that third position, 2:03.56.
And, you know, actually Kayla Edwards negative splitting her last 200 meters. It was 29.49, then a 30.3, 30.9, and then a 30.4 for her final 200, which is tough to do in an 800, as we said. Raven can speak to that.
Yeah, Raven, you're known for your closing speed as well. Like, what did you take away from that finish there?
I think Kayla had a great, amazing, strong finish. I think that this is good. This is a good start for all of them, you know, to kick off their first race or Kayla's second race of the season. And so, all in all, Kayla looked really strong, and yeah, everybody looked great.
Yeah, and what did you feel? Did that get the race jitters going a bit more? You ready to get out there again?
I know. I'm like, man, like when you're watching, you're like, man, I should have, you know, but it's fine. It's definitely rewarding to see them go out there and have fun and compete.
Yeah, we will see you soon enough as we hit the rest of the circuit and then also outdoors too.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans in Portland love you. In Hayward, obviously, they love you. You're on the tower there. So loved everywhere you go, from Houston to Spokane.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us here in the booth.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And we're going to kick it down to Kayla Edwards. Jake's got her trackside right now.
All right, we're down trackside with Kayla Edwards, the winner of the 800 meters. 2:01 season opener for 800. How's that feel?
Good. I'm not sure exactly what the exact time was, but probably matched my current indoor PB at least, maybe. So that feels good to start out where I finished a couple of years ago before I got sick. So I've been clawing my way back, and I'm happy. I have some good momentum right now.
Sure. Obviously, coming off UW, where you got some wins there. What's next for you in the season, and what are you kind of looking forward to this season as you kind of bounce back?
So next week I'll be headed to Boston for the New Balance Grand Prix. So I'm really excited for that. I'll hit another 800, so this is a really good warm-up for that.
Awesome. Well, Kayla, congrats on the win, and appreciate you coming down.
Thanks for the time. Absolutely.
Thanks, Jake. And thank you, Kayla. That did better Kayla's her PB, PR for those of us here in the States. 201.27. She had a 201.4 before that, I think. So great day to get the win, the PB, and the prize purse here, which has been sweetened a few times. So thank you to the fans who did that. Thank you all for tuning in this evening. Final thoughts. Let's kick it around the table here. Shannon, what stuck out to you from this evening here in the Podium?
I think it's the quality and the caliber of racing that we're getting to see in January. It's still January. Clearly, you know, the times are not, except for Kayla, not necessarily personal best, but strong racing with athletes getting after it. And I think it's a sign, and knowing that most of them are coming off of base training and altitude training, I think it's a sign of some really strong performances in the months ahead. I
agree. I think, Raven, let's kick it over to you. What was your performance of the evening here?
My favorite performance?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed watching Noah's race. I felt like he just went out there and was so aggressive. I haven't watched him run, so this was my first time, and just seeing him go out and, you know, he has that same kind of aggressiveness that Sinclair has, and so it's you know, those are two of my favorite runners of the night.
Yeah, as an 800-meter tactician yourself, did it look like he was toying with the field a little bit, kind of pushing the gas, laying off a little bit?
I feel like, I mean, he got second at Worlds Indoors, and so he definitely knows what he's doing. But at the same time, I feel like he also had to make his presence known and really establish himself in position, and he did that in the race. He did really well.
Have you ever played handball with Noah Cabet? Because we heard that was his former life.
I have not. I've only seen just innocent, quiet Noah at camp. So this is a different guy.
We got to get a video of a handball instructional with Noah just leading the team, just showing him how to play.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that to you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I want to see that. Yeah, I mean, I loved seeing, obviously, the finishes off of these races because, I mean, we have athletes that are coming to the line not knowing exactly what to expect off of their long stint of training, and then just like that look on their face as you can see that, oh, I've got something and I can use it and I'm going to use it here, and that elation too and that determination, and just seeing afterwards just the confidence that comes across. You saw it in the face of Amos Bartlesmeyer too as he put the number 1 up after closing at about 27. That's the kind of stuff that you want to see, and you want to see them carry that through the season.
Right.
So I love that, and I loved hanging out with you guys here. So and all of you at home, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to Hayward Magic for providing this free broadcast to all. Thank you to the Union Athletics Club for hosting this meet. Everybody who came to compete. Let's get more of these things going. We want to have a circuit like this in the United States, and we've got one with Lilac here. We've got the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix coming up, obviously, and then the Millrose Games. It's a perfect line of meets there. So as this meet keeps building, we're going to see a lot more of this great competition coming to this track.
In 2028, Olympics come to the United States, so we've got the perfect lead up to really build that momentum for those of you like us who want track to become a household thing. We have the perfect runway to try to do that. So
yeah, Raven will be on a building down in LA.
yeah,
I think.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
Thank you all for tuning in. Next stop for us at TRACKLND will be down at the 10 in San Juan Capistrano, so be sure to tune in for that. From all of us, from Shannon, from Raven, we wish you a great evening, and we're going to go hit a few of the spots out in Spokane because it's a great town.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody.